It muted itself. Hello. Yay. Okay, so first stream difficulties. Anyway, I'm going to do an intro here real quick because I'm probably going to upload this to YouTube afterwards. Anyways, today we're going to be doing a battery building live stream, and we've got a couple things on the agenda. First of those being a quick little CAD exercise to figure out the lengths of nickel per each of my parallel groups. And then we will go and cut the nickel, and hopefully we'll be able to get to some welding today. I don't know yet. Yes, Mario, I like YouTube better too, but the only reason I'm streaming on Twitch today is because apparently there's a restriction on YouTube where the first time you click stream, there's a 24-hour buffer. I'm assuming that's some kind of spam filter or something, but yeah. I don't know, man. I'm going to stream on YouTube from now on, but today it'll have to be on Twitch, so it is what it is. I agree. YouTube is definitely better. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and start on some of the CAD work. And let's see. I don't think I set up the scene for this. I just decided to use my big camera as the webcam instead of my actual webcam. But I guess we could go to that anyway. There we go. Yeah, my battery video here will not have subpar welds done with a 9-volt battery. Sorry to disappoint. So basically we're going to start with here is just a quick sketch, so I can go ahead and save this, and we're going to make this into 12S8P nickel size pattern. And we're going to go ahead and drop in my 21700 cell, which should be in here somewhere, and just search. And this does seem kind of extra to go into all this CAD design for just making a battery, but this is actually the first 12S8P brick pack that I've made. The last one that I made was a 12S7P, and I had special 3D printed dividers, so it's a little bit different, and the nickel length is going to be different as well. Some fun facts about the battery: the cells we'll be using are Molicel P42A as per usual, and they will be connected to an LLT BMS as per usual as well. Hopefully I don't get unlucky with this one. But yeah, pretty basic build, nothing too crazy. And I'm trying to decide if I want to use adhesive fish paper between the P groups, or if I want to use regular fish paper, like non-adhesive kind, because I have both, but I've heard that it's annoying to use the adhesive one on these brick packs. And on my last brick pack, I actually didn't use any fish paper because I was using the 3D printed holder, so I didn't need to. But maybe this time I'll try the non-adhesive. But it sounds annoying because at least with the adhesive you can stick it on and it stays there, but with the non-adhesive I feel like I'd have to hold it. And yeah, the I'm assuming that the adhesive will work fine. I actually have, you know, if you've built a battery before, the length of the fish paper that you can buy commonly on Amazon is like 74 millimeters or 75 or something like that. And it's really kind of annoying because you have to cut off the extra off the edge. So I think what I might do is I'll use the like thin strips of the adhesive fish paper, because I just have them sitting around and I'm literally not even going to use them. So that would be an easy way to do it. I'll put like a thin strip along the top and a thin strip along the bottom. But we'll have to see. And yeah, like you were saying, skin drop, the cell holders are a good option, but I don't have any with me right now. And this, what you see on screen right now, is how I have to build a pack to fit in my enclosure. So the oh, what's up, man? Nice to see you. Yeah, so cell holders are cool, but I think in this brick pack it'll be pretty easy to get them to all line up. Obviously, we'll have to see, but the main idea is that I won't have to put as much fish paper on it and stuff using the staggered setup here, because technically you really only need to like put fish paper directly between the P groups. So I will just probably make do with the what do you call it, the strips. But anyway, that'll be definitely a bit later. So let's see, 30 millimeters. I think I actually made my last brick pack with 25 millimeter wide, but 30 should be the perfect width. Yeah, I agree. It is kind of annoying, and on the like big flat packs that I made, I guess I've made like some 12S8P double stack ones, and when they're in like the flux enclosure and you're trying to get them to I guess mesh together, the adhesive paper always comes unstuck from underneath the cell. And for example, on this battery pack, which is a super weird one, but I don't know if you can see, but the fish paper came up from in between the cells, so now it's just kind of like sitting there, and you have to stick it back down. So if there's not a good way to hold it down, which fortunately there is in this setup, it can be really annoying. So yeah, such is the joys of battery building sometimes, but we have fun. Again, this is probably really extra for creating a like a nickel template, but my printer is broken, so I have to get these dimensions so I can draw out the length of the nickel. And I like to be pretty accurate with this, especially for the positive side, because if you have too much overhang, it just looks messy. So hopefully this will work out okay. A good corner chomper. That's a good question. The one I use is the Crocodile one, which is the one with like the blue handles. Yeah, like Skin Drop saying. The only problem I've had with that is that it has gone dull for me, like, already. and I've only used it for like 2 years, so that is quite unfortunate. And I don't know, I built like maybe 10 packs or something with it. And now it sounds like it would be fine, but it's actually super dull. And I found on the most recent pack I was doing, the little like teeth in here, they were just like pulling the nickel through it. So today, when we hopefully get to the point where I'm cutting nickel, which I think will be pretty easy to get to that point today anyway, I can show you. But yeah, it's good, but only for a certain amount of time. Yeah, like Mario is saying, the expendability of it is not bad at all for 10, 20 packs. I build at a pretty slow rate just because I do so many things. So like having to spend a couple dollars every once in a while is not really that bad. Yo, what's up, Matt? Glad to see you're using our work dollars effectively. Yeah, also I have built most of my packs with 0.2 millimeter nickel, and this will be the first one in a while, actually I think ever, for me building it with the 0.15. And I don't know, I've never tried 0.15 before. Apparently it's much easier. I know for a fact that it is much easier to weld and much easier to like keep your batteries cool. And by batteries I mean the welding battery, because I use a lipo to weld. So man, I really messed this up. Yeah, anyway, what I was saying, the 0.15 nickel is much easier on your batteries, and you can go longer before having to cool down. Because for me, whenever I'm welding, I typically will be able to do like one side of a parallel group, and then I'll have to wait for my probes on my K-weld and my battery to cool down before I am able to do the next group. And obviously there's a couple ways to go around that. One would be just getting another welder, which I will do eventually. But another one would be like bigger fans on them. I just use 2 like tiny fans to cool them down. Another one would probably be like the what do you call them? The duck grip things that you can print to put on, or pro grips. That's what they are. You can print them and put them on your welding probes, which is pretty handy. I could do that, haven't yet for some reason. And it's funny because I actually have TPU on my printer right now, but you know, that's how it is sometimes. Just wanted to go ahead and grab a battery cell real quick so I can measure the positive terminal size. It looks like, okay, it was 9 millimeters. Perfect. Yeah, so what I'm doing here is using the positive terminal size to get the total length of nickel. because the negative side doesn't matter as much in terms of like spillover, but for the positive side I want to make sure I go almost right to the edge there. And for the angles, I think what I'm going to do is we'll make, I'm not going to use a corner chomper, but I do want to make consistent corners. So I'll probably, let's see, I'll just do conversion real quick. So what, 0.25 inches, millimeters is about 6.3. So yeah, that'll come pretty close, but we'll just do it for the model sake. And then we'll go ahead and cut off here at an angle, project this through, do another circle, 9 millimeters, cut off like this. What the? Thank you, mouse, for double clicking. No, I haven't put the pro grips on yet. I don't have any. I was planning on just designing my own real quick and printing them. I'm sure you are familiar with how small ambitions like that go sometimes. I just haven't gotten to it yet. So, yeah, I really should do that because I think it'll help me out quite a bit. Let's see, can I make this a 45? No, that's gonna be too tight. Yeah, and what you're saying about the wind tunnel, it's definitely a good option. I actually have a large fan that I use in the office because it gets pretty hot in here, and I will probably try to bring that over to the workbench today, because my little fans are not enough. But anyway, we're welding 0.15 milliliter today, so it should be fine. I'm not super worried about it. And let's see. Yeah, the welder doesn't heat up really at all. Just the XT90 that goes from my battery to the welder, and then the probes themselves are the biggest problem, which again, probe grips would be the move, but haven't gotten around to it. I don't know what I was gonna say. Yeah, not really a big deal to worry about the welder. One of the other guys that builds batteries, Joey Z, and I think Ted, they both have these like K-weld stacks that they made. I think they have like the K cap in there as well, and it seems like a really slick solution for like keeping your stuff cool, both in the sense that it has like a fan built in, and that it's super modular, so you can kind of place it wherever you want. Patch you there, and then do that. My modeling has been all over the place. I didn't realize how much of a split attention I would have here. Okay, so there we got 30 millimeters by whatever that total length will be. And we're going to see that in just a second. And then we'll be able to move on to the next stage. So, 0.15. And new body. And there we go. Alright, I can't group those because they're components. Whoops. Alright, so there's a piece of nickel. And we're going to call that upper nickel. I'm not going to model all of them out because there's no point. For the last build that I did, the last brick pack that I did, I had to model all of them out because I was using the custom cell holders, and I needed to make sure that I was going to be able to clear in all of the directions. And that is not the case this time. I will just be straight up doing it. So now we'll just go ahead and project some lines out. Curve, 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 and curve. And then we'll go construction, straight up, straight up, straight down, and then we'll go construction across, construction across. And now we have a driven dimension that we can view off to the side. And that's going to come out to be 171 millimeters, 0.58, which I'm probably just going to round up to 172 because we can have a little bit extra to play with. It's okay for a little hang off, and I can always kind of trim it a little bit with my scissors. So let's see. Now, here's the funny part. My printer is broken. Thank you, Epson, for that. I got it bricked by updating the firmware because I was using third-party ink, as you do, because no one wants to pay $120 for Epson ink. Updated the firmware, and it died. So all this to say that we're going to be doing this old school and drawing out these dimensions on a piece of paper so I can scribe out the lines on my nickel. And yeah, it's stupid, isn't it? And you know what the dumb thing is, Mario, is that the ink, the XL ones, which of course you want to buy the XL cartridges because who buys normal size? The ink costs $120 for the XL cartridges. And you know how much the printer costs? The original printer, which is a Workforce like 3840 or something like that, that printer cost me $166. So, like, the difference between the ink and buying an entire new printer is literally only $40, which is just absurd. So, yeah, thanks, Epson. Also, you would think it's illegal for them to not let you use third-party ink and not tell you in a firmware update that it's like updating their what do you call it? Their like ink validation method. And it is in fact illegal. And the interesting thing is that Epson already had a lawsuit for this exact issue in 2019. And here they are still operating with these practices. So you can see how well that worked out. And yeah, it's not a bad idea buying the printer to get the ink. Unfortunately, they did another tricky one on you, and the actual hold on, let me check something. Okay, the actual can you guys hear me still? I just switched mics. The actual ink that comes with the printer by default is like super low capacity. It's like 25% capacity cartridges. So yeah, such is the life of the consumer. Yeah, so got our paper. I'm going to go ahead and draw out my shapes on it. I think I might switch scenes now and move my cameras to my desk, or my workbench rather. So yeah, I am gonna do that. I know it's a lot quieter. It's super weird. Let me check on the oh, the volume got changed. Hopefully that's a lot louder. I think it should be. So I'm gonna move my stuff over to my workbench. That's interesting. Was the other one echoing a little bit? It's probably just because there's not a lot of sound dampening in this room. Also, you like my fancy tracking camera? It's pretty convenient. No. It's one by Obsbot, which is actually the original maker of like the, I don't know how you want to say, like 3D tracking webcams. So I got that one a little while back, and I've just had it as my webcam on my computer, but it's pretty convenient that it can follow you around. Also, fancy new remote. Instant thumb cramps. Fun times. Anyway, I'm going to drag this camera over here. This is the one that I actually meant to be doing this whole first part on, but I didn't get the scene set up yet, so I decided to just use the webcam instead. And this has been sitting on for so long that it already needs the batteries changed, so thank you. Whatever. So next step, like I mentioned, is going to be cutting up the nickel. And I just got a really big roll of nickel from Alibaba, 0.15 by 30, and I've got tons of it. So I'm going to be using that in a lot of the packs that I build coming up, including this client pack. And I think it's a great size to have. It seems like there's a lot of things you can use it for. I know some people have said that 30 millimeter is kind of like the universal useful size in my like battery groups and stuff. So I'm happy with my purchase, and I did confirm that it is completely legitimate nickel, 100%. I did the saltwater test, I did the grinder test, and I also tested it with actual welding, and all three of those worked properly. So very happy with that. And let's see, I'm gonna switch cameras here to this one. Oh, it's not connected yet. What's going on? There we go. Let's go ahead and switch some settings. You can see part of the cells in my enclosure here, and the total number of cells in here for a 12S8P I believe is 96. So almost an entire box from Molicel, which is pretty convenient because that means you get the 100 cell discount. But even more fortunately, I bought these cells on sale, so I got them for an even better price. And every once in a while, 18650 store has these great sales on cells, and I got lucky that I happened to be building a battery at the same time as one of the sales went on, so that is great. Let's see, I think I'm going to take an extension USB cable and move this webcam over to my workbench. So I think it's gonna go dead for a second here. Bye bye. Oh, that's a great face to leave that on. Amazing. Let's see. Where can I put this? Actually, maybe a better idea to see how much cable length I have first. I have a 6-foot extension and like a 6-foot USB cable, so that should be plenty of room to put this wherever I want. I think I'm gonna put it on like the left side so you can see it going the opposite direction. Maybe on, oh wait, it's already on a tripod. Alright, hopefully that reconnects properly. Bam, bam, bam. Are you back yet? Are you back yet? No? Hello? How about... No. Okay. Let me try deactivating it and reactivating it. No. Boy, what? Maybe it doesn't like this USB cable. Let me try plugging it into a different spot. I know this webcam gave me trouble at one point with this spot that I plugged into the computer. Let's see. Didn't like my USB hub, I think. I just need to figure out which USB cable to unplug. Oh, it's this one. Alright, let's see. If you're wondering, I'm like underneath the desk right now, so that's great. Alright, maybe that one will work. Maybe. Please. Is this USB cable broken? I'm sorry guys, this is really annoying. You know what? Forget the webcam, we'll just go ahead and use the GoPro. I think this will have a pretty decent feed as well. Yes, thank you. USB connected, that's what I want to see. Alright. Now, see if I can switch to my GoPro capture. Maybe this needs to get activated. Yes. Excellent. Now you can see the meta stream on stream action. I'm actually gonna put this like right over here. Excellent. Hey. And we'll have our, wait, this is supposed to be more of a face cam, never mind. There we go, that'll work. And we'll go ahead and switch the screens over here so I can see chat. And yeah, I think that's all we need. I'll get my ruler out and we can start working on it. Let's switch this to be on top of Oswald webcam is not in this. Oh, I need R6 plus GoPro, so we'll switch this one to be the GoPro. And we'll actually focus this. It does not like focusing on a white piece of paper. Go figure. Yeah, I'll switch it to manual. Oh, right, this one has a switch. Manual focus, there we go. And we'll go ahead and focus her up there. Excellent. And the GoPro is dead. Why are you dead? Boy, if you... Does it need to wake up? Man, what's going on here? It says active webcam. You were just active! How can you do this to me? Wait. Wait, am I just dumb? Hold on. It is working. We can add video capture, GoPro capture, and then resize. Oh, there we go. Excellent. All right. Now we can get started on what I was planning on starting a while ago. All right. Go ahead and get out a ruler. Some of y'all will know about the dangers of using a metal ruler with battery building, but I will be sure to be careful with my setup here. All right, so what did I say? It was 172 millimeters, so 172 by 30. We'll just go ahead and measure out 30 mil. Nice. We'll go and measure out 30 millimeters. I wish I had a square, but I don't have one for some reason, so we're just going to have to eyeball it. It's not the end of the world. This doesn't have to be 100% accurate, especially since this is just to get the ends of the nickel and the length. So we'll go ahead and measure out 172. And we can, well, actually I'll do it twice. 172 And now you can make a straight line across. And we'll go ahead and grab the massive paper chomper. Bam. Totally not excessive. Now you have the length down, so we can now cut off the angles. And this part is where having my cells set up here is pretty convenient. So go ahead and tilt you down here. Now you can see all of the cells, and we will lay this out here. And it does appear that 172 is a nice length for this. And now we'll just go ahead and cut off some angles. Just go ahead and use scissors. Maybe I'll use my protractor since I have it. Really crappy protractor though. There's the angle hand. Okay, apparently the angle hand is nowhere to be found. All of this is just because this is the first time I built this 8P variant. I actually still have my paper pieces from my 7P variant. And obviously another way to do this would be to 3D print the pieces, but I can't really 3D print an entire piece in Stream with this printer that I have right now, so I think this was supposed to be like 65 degrees maybe. Where'd my pencil go? Hello? Did I drop it? What the heck? Lame. So I'll just use this one. So that's around 65-ish degrees. Let's see what that looks like on the cells. It's important that I get this right on the first one because if I'm going to use this exact pattern for all of them, then I would not want it to be wrong on the very first try. So take a little bit of extra time. It looks like it could have been a little bit steeper, maybe like 50 degrees. We'll just draw one a little bit steeper. There we go. Excelente. Now I can measure out the distances. Again, being super excessive because why not? That'll work. So weird method to do that, but let's see. So this will be going like this, so the angles need to go in the same direction. And that is about 9 millimeters. We'll measure in 9. Dang, it's really that far. All right. 9 millimeters over like that. Fold it over. And now, should have a nice, perfect. So, as you can see, there's a little bit of like extra here, but that's fine because I'm going to end up trimming all of the extra with scissors anyway. So, let's see, what do I want to do next? I need to glue all these cells together still. I think maybe I want to glue the cells before I cut the nickel. Because if I have all the cells glued, then I should be able to lay the nickel out more accurately. I glue the cells into groups of 8. They're parallel groups. Yes, it is time for the magical black hot glue. Let's see. Also, for the record, I already measured all of these voltages on a multimeter before I put them in this box. So if you're wondering why I'm not going to measure them in this video / stream, that is why. So let's see, I think I'll go ahead and glue them in to groups of 8. And then between each group, there needs to be fish paper. So if I glue them like this, then the only way to combine this group with that group is to glue at the ends. I think that'll be fine. Obviously, this will be upside down next to it. Yeah. We'll just go ahead and glue them in groups of 8, which is good because I have 8p cell holders to, or rather gluing guides to do this with. Let me go ahead and switch over, and here I have 3 of these 3D printed in a kind of wasteful fashion, but never fear, it was extra filament. These are 8p, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, thought I was dumb for a second. Yeah, these are 8p gluing guides, and there definitely could be some material removed from these, but basically all I have to do is lay them all down. And then glue, 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 glue. So, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And this should be pretty easy because while the first one is cooling down, I'm gluing the second one and third one. And then by the time I'm done gluing the third one, the first one will probably be cool. and then I can flip it over and glue the other side. And there's actually one improvement that I will probably end up making to these holders, and that is that the little ridges in here, they actually come up almost too far, because when you flip the cells over, sometimes the glue ends up sitting on the 3D printed piece instead of the cell bodies, and then it like makes it sit a little bit too high. So there we are, and the hot glue gun is heating up, so now we just have to wait for that to heat up. Let me think, is there anything else I can do? I don't know if you can see this. It's a little bit out of shot. This is my, oh, actually I have a small piece here. This is the nickel I will be using. 30 millimeter by 0.15, and it's actually super flexible, which was a request that myself and the guy that I bought this with had for the factory. So this nickel is so flexible that I can like dent it with my fingernail, which is nice because that means when I place this over the cells, I can kind of just press on it with my thumbnail and it'll make outlines of the cell heads, or mostly the positive side is what I'd be worried about. It'll make outlines of that, and I'll have a nice little welding guide so I don't accidentally weld off of the top of the positive end of the cell. And I don't really need that because I've been doing this a long time, but it's a nice little helper. Let's see if the black hot glue is hot. Does appear to be. I'll probably end up using almost a whole glue stick for this. But it's fine. I have like 95 more, so no biggie. Also, interesting fact about the hot glue, there's kind of like a technique to it so you get less strings. It's just like lay it down and go back over it. It looks like it's actually a little bit cool still. But it's flowing all right. Some people have different methods of connecting these cells together. For me, I prefer to use hot glue because it is easy. The cleanup is none. It cures to full hardness. I don't want to say within like 5 minutes because I feel like after like 24 hours this glue is a little bit harder than right after it cools down. But in any case, it doesn't need air to harden, and you can just close up / finish your battery and know for certain that everything will dry properly. Some people like to use a combination of silicone and hot glue, which I respect. It's perfectly fine. Good method to do things. Possibly a little bit more durable than my method here, but silicone is annoying to work with because it has cure time. It smells bad, and it needs air to cure. So there can be circumstances where you might have a large brick pack. You silicone the entire thing together. You get done and everything is dry on the outside, but somewhere in the middle of the pack there could be a chance that there would be some silicone that never cured. And for me, I would prefer to just have hot glue that cures as soon as it's cool. So yeah, that's my stance on hot glue versus silicone. I do believe that there are certain circumstances where silicone is better, but most of those are in terms of keeping water out of an enclosure, not necessarily for gluing batteries. And I even have some silicone that I will be using to seal up one of my enclosures, but it's a small tube, and in comparison, the hot glue is cheaper and easier. So, yeah. New stick. Also, No Life Meta mentioned magical black hot glue. We're actually friends in real life, and I always tell him about how much more powerful the black hot glue is than any of the other ones I've used. And if you guys watch Project Farm on YouTube, super interesting channel, especially for nerds like us e-skate people. He does tests on lots of different things, and one of his videos was on a hot glue, and I don't recall what brand won that, but he didn't try black hot glue. He only tried the clear ones. So I believe there are some good clear ones. There's so many out there, it's hard to tell which ones are good. And for me, I've found that the black stuff, it just sticks better to the surfaces that I've been using. And it also seems to be a little bit more durable. Over time, with like a lot of dust and air exposure, it does wear down a little bit. I have some on a loop key that has started to come off. But fun fact, that loop key went through the wash. So yeah, I accidentally left a loop key in my pocket and it had hot glue on it, but it didn't melt because I had it on cold cycle, fortunately. I cannot imagine how catastrophic that would have been if I was on hot cycle. Glue everywhere. Would have been a bad time. So now I have finished gluing all three of these, so now the first one is probably cool. It is. And now I can flip it out and place it back in. As you can see, it doesn't quite go back in all the way, but all the cells are still right up next to each other, so I'm not too fussed about it. I'll just continue gluing. Now, one thing you might be wondering is why you have all this glue inside of a pack that's going to be all welded together and then like fiber taped and fish papered. Well, with the extreme amount of vibrations that electric skateboards and mountain boards are put through, it's just better to err on the side of caution and have glue between all the cells. I was trying to think of a way to have more stable connections between each of these series groups, like in this brick pack configuration, and I didn't think of one quite yet, but the hot glue should be enough for most situations, and I think that the extra fiber tape that I put around the outside and the fish paper will do a great job of holding them together, in addition to just the like glue beads that I put at the end of the series groups. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to tape every other series group together or every series group together. I think it just depends on how much space there is and how well they mesh together. I'm not quite certain how long I'm going to stream for yet. Probably for another hour. But hopefully this gives you a little bit of appreciation for how much prep work goes into some of these batteries. It's not just slap it together, get welding, and you're good. You gotta cut your nickel, you gotta cut your series connections on some packs. You gotta glue your cells together. You gotta put the fish paper rings on, which, if you noticed, are already on these. What else do you have to do? The welding takes a while. You gotta do a bunch of soldering, especially for like the positive and negative on brick packs. For this pack, I will be doing a like big positive, big negative, only with 10 gauge wire, but I actually need to make sure the client doesn't want 4-wheel drive before I solder that, but yeah, I don't think there's any other major steps that take a super long time, but there we go. One series group. Two series groups. And I'll let that one cool a little bit more. Pink hot glue. I didn't even know that was a thing. I have to check it out. Thing is, with like glues and paints and stuff, or sorry, glues and plastics, sometimes due to the nature of the material, they can only accept like certain colorants. For example, like if you're familiar with 3D printing materials, there's one called Ultem or Peak, and they only come really in like natural color or sometimes black, and it's just due to the nature of the material and what you're allowed to put in it while it's being manufactured. Otherwise, you're left with just painting stuff. Really? That is pretty funny. Glitter hot glue. I never would have imagined that was a thing. All right, there's our third group, and these groups they're fairly strong like this. Like you can pick them up, but I wouldn't drop them. I definitely wouldn't manhandle them. So the glue's strong, but it's not the strongest thing in the world, which is why we use fiber tape to help us hold the pack together. All right, more glue time. I wonder if I can just go across here. Seems like a decent method. like I need to grab some more glue sticks. So far we've used 1.5 about. And we're partway through the 4th, 5th, and 6th series groups. I'm just going to go ahead and grab a couple more glue sticks so I don't have to get up. A pack of the colored hot glue. What are the, or what's the manufacturer, like the color options? Because these black ones are by Trend Box on Amazon, so you buy like 100 of them. What I do really want to try out is getting some of the AliExpress colored like cables, because they have like blue and pink and green and stuff. I think that would be super fun to build with instead of just having black and red cables. I guess the one thing about gluing them in this method is that they all get finished at the same time, so I lose the advantage of staggering them with their cooling time. Oh well, I'll just have to wait a minute. Oh, it does? Alright, for sure. Let me know. I thought, well, I guess it depends on what color you want, because I thought I saw on AliExpress that you could get, like, some of the colors just by ordering them. Alright, is this cool? There's one. There's two. And 3. I'll try doing it the other way this time. I really need to run this cable over the desk instead of sideways. I've been gluing so fast that my hot glue gun is struggling to keep up. It's supposed to be a 100-watt gun too. I guess we are doing a lot of volume. Almost no rest period. Oh my god. 1 kilometer? Woo! Man, that, wait, like what gauge wire though? Because I think, well, I mean, obviously the ones we use most are 10 and 12 gauge. I probably would be interested in 12 because I feel like that's more universal. I pretty much only use 10 gauge nowadays for uh like exclusively the discharge cables. Yeah, I got little stringies all over this one. Whatever, you're never gonna see them. Okay. 14 is pretty useful too. I actually I just got some 14, like 50 feet of it. And I've only used it on one pack so far. It'd be interesting to try out like 3 times 14 gauge on some of the smaller packs, like on actually maybe even 2. I forget what the current carrying capability is of 14 gauge, but 12 gauge is already super easy to solder. 14 has got to be even easier. Really anything to speed up the soldering process is good. Yeah, that's still so much though. I mean, how much do you really use? Like, for a large pack like a flux pack, I don't even think I use more than, let me think. Each of the series cables was 3 times 12 gauge at about like 35 millimeters. So 3 times 12. Okay, for real. 3 times 12 times what, 30? It's like 900 something millimeters. So like only a couple feet. That sounds about right. I mean, I always build to the cell's capability, you know, so like a 4P pack would be for multi-cell P42A, 4P would be about 30 amps per cell at 4, so what, 120 amps absolute max. And even at that, it's still kind of difficult to get to that number. So I guess you would need 3 times 14 gauge to be safe on that. Or, oh, no wonder the hot glue gun stopped working. It came unplugged. Dumb. It just so happens that the plug that this is plugged into is super loose. Yeah, I'll change it. I'll change it to this one. There we go. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't know. The highest sustained number that I think I've probably hit is maybe like 90, but only for a couple seconds. So it's just like a matter of thinking about how much you're actually going to use versus the real burst ratings, because obviously those cables can take much more for short periods of time. I'm talking like 2 seconds, 3 seconds. I mean, how often or how much do you actually use when you accelerate? It's like, I know for my board, to get to my top speed has got to be like maybe 10, nah, maybe 5 seconds max to get up to my top speed. And you're only pulling the high amps at the beginning of that range when you start from the standstill. So it probably would be pretty safe. The only thing that happens that would be more concerning is if you you were to be riding for a really long time and the cells built up, or sorry, not the cells, and the wires built up heat over time, then you could have issues with what the. Oh, my camera went to sleep. You could have issues with the cables like getting saturated with heat over time, and then you would have a very warm pack on your hands. But unlikely. All right, this is probably warmed up again now. There we go. Helps to have it actually on. Who knew? That's probably why I was stringing so much too. So like, I swear it wasn't stringing this much at the beginning. Okay, so you're done. Got those hot glue spider webs going. You're done. You know, the funny thing is sometimes these little hot glue strings are still on the cells when you go to weld it. And sometimes they get in between the nickel and the cell. And then when you weld the cell, it like burns it. Gotta be careful you don't leave them in there. Always like pull the little bits off the ends before sticking the nickel on it now. Also, I am recording this, so if you want to catch the rest of this later, I'm intending to upload it to YouTube. Hopefully the recording is all good and all the sound makes it in properly. This is my first stream, so it's a learning experience for me using the record while streaming function. I believe the VOD will be available on Twitch too. I have it set so that it is. So I expect that they will be available there as well. But it's going to be a very long one because it's already been like an hour and a bit. Hey, this is what battery building is all about. It takes a long time. And it looks like today I'll probably just be able to get to cutting the nickel. I'm not sure if I want to stay streaming for more than 2 hours. We'll see though. I would like to get a lot done today on this, so making good headway so far. And satisfying. Now to move on to the next hot glue stick. That's number 3. be interesting to get like an idea of how many sticks it uses per pack, translate it back into a cost per cell kind of thing. Purely for my own information, of course, but it would be interesting. Oh, you know what's funny is I actually have recorded a video on my last brick pack. In March, and I finished that pack before SkateCon because it was for my mountain board and I needed to finish it. So I finished that pack, but I just literally haven't had time to edit that video yet. And obviously the last big video that I did was the big battery build. I actually made that before SkateCon too. Because that was for one of my friends that was going to SkateCon. So yeah, I'm not going to make a video on this pack obviously because I'm streaming, but I will be making a video on the other pack that uses the cell holders that I designed. And it's interesting, the cell holders that I did were 3D printed, of course. And they worked decently well, but the problem is when you print holes for 84 cells, the pack was a 12S7P. When you print holes for that many cells, inevitably you're going to have some that come in a little bit out of tolerance for what you were expecting. And for me and my printer setup, I typically size my cell holes to be like 21.8 millimeters. And these moly cells are around like 21.4. So there's some shrinkage, and then I just want like a light press fit. And what ended up happening on that 12S7P pack is some of the holes fit just fine. Some of them were super loose, and some of them were so tight that it ripped a little bit of the cell casing. So, you know, obviously that's dealing with 3D printing in a nutshell, but yeah, I'm not really a file that I would want to release to people to just go ahead and print. So I'm going to make the video on it. The pack is still in service. It's at over 500 miles now. So obviously it works just fine. But it still bothers me that I know some of those cells in there are a lot looser than they should be. And the thing is, when you use like a cell holder in the design that I did, which is like a big piece over the top that holds all the cells and a big piece at the bottom, you can't really glue the cells together very easily. No, I didn't glue them together either. So like the chance of them moving a little bit, it's pretty high. But I have a large piece of rubber sheet underneath the pack. It kind of holds the cells from the bottom. I'm not really worried about them coming out the top, because gravity is helping. Maybe on jumps a little bit, but yeah, if you printed solid it would work, but the problem would just be like, well, one, it adds extra work. Two, the plastic waste. And then another thing to consider is the placement of the holes. Like, there being a little bit of discrepancy between where you actually wanted the cell and where your drill bit goes through. Now, obviously, if you have a drill press, that's not as big a deal. But That's not a terrible idea. I think maybe if you did something like that, you could undersize the holes. So like instead of 20 0.8 millimeter or 21.8 millimeters, you could do like 20 millimeters and then just drill out with that larger drill size. But I mean, who's to say if there's a 21.4 millimeter drill, you know? 3 more groups and we'll be all glued up. So that's exciting. Let's get this gluing done in only like 20 minutes, not too bad. I will take it. I guess I'm realizing as I am streaming this that I'm typically more distracted while I'm building these. And right now I'm completely focused on building it. So maybe a little bit more efficient than normal. And if you guys like this concept, I'm totally open to doing more of these building streams because I got quite a few more packs to build. Of course, if I'm making a video on the pack, I'm not going to stream it, but not every single pack needs a video. I mean, after a certain point, they are looking very similar. Techniques are not that different per pack. So I think my idea going forwards on battery builds is to do videos on the more unique ones, ones that people will be less accustomed to seeing. And it's kind of funny because I think that brick packs are still something that people are less accustomed to seeing because they pretty much only exist in DIY mountain boards. So we'll see how long it takes for somebody else to do that, but we've already got 2 on the horizon. X-Way has got their auxiliary pack that they're planning. I can't remember what size it is, maybe a 12S6P or something, 4P, something like that. That's a strap onto the top type. And Ace Deck, the new manufacturer, has got their LaCroix looking board coming out with a top mount as well, which is, it's a very interesting looking layout when I looked at the cutaway on their latest Instagram post, but it'll be interesting to see how that looks. I'm not getting one or anything, but definitely will look forward to seeing people open them up. My next few pack sizes are kind of interesting. So this pack, 12S8P. The next immediate pack that I'm doing is going to be for a custom build, which will be for YouTube. So, really? Anyone who's here right now, I think there's like 8 of you or something like that. If you're here right now, this is an exclusive spoiler for you. I'm going to be doing a very custom build in a series on YouTube using a senderized choo-choo deck, and that will be very cool, and it's going to be for sale when I'm done. So you guys will get to see me build it, and then it will be sold. And in that board, it's going to be a 10S4P. I know what you're thinking, wow, that's a tiny pack. Why are you building something so small? I'm sure you're thinking exactly like that. Yeah, it's a small pack, but the thing with the choo-choo deck is that it's a very small deck. It has a underside enclosure with cutout. There's not a lot of room for expandability. Now I still, yeah, of course. I still haven't, I still literally haven't even opened that board up to see how much space there actually is, but I don't think there's a lot to work with there. If there's some way I can do double stack, I might look into that, but we'll have to see. The first video I'm going to do on it is a like mechanical system video, so it'll be me building up the drivetrain, and once I have the drivetrain mounted and like the wheels set up, I'll be able to like set it on the ground and see how much ground clearance I have. So that'll help me a lot in figuring out if there's any possibility of doing a double stack battery, because obviously, man, tennis 4P is not very flashy nowadays, and I'm trying to sell this board for probably around $2,000 or maybe a little more. And it's going to be hard to ask that, besides all the custom like work and stuff, but it'll be a little bit hard to ask that for only a 10S4P. So yeah, man, I mean, it's very easy to lose perspective once you get into this high-end DIY stuff. It's like I've built so many large packs now. You guys might remember the 20S 8P that I built. Absolutely ridiculous pack size. That was crazy. I've built 12S 8P, 12S 7P, another 12S 7P. And this is kind of like just DIY standards now. I don't know, there aren't that many people that build smaller than 6P for like the higher end DIY boards. And it's kind of interesting because a lot of the Chinese boards are starting to catch up. Like Ace Deck is a 14S 4P, Onboard Zeus Pro 13S 4P, regular Zeus 12S 4P. Now of course cell type matters too, but they're catching up on that front too, and a lot of them are starting to use the Molicell P42A as well. So pack sizes are getting larger, which is fine. I personally like to ride between 15 and 20 miles on what I would consider a maybe slightly longer than average group ride. So having any smaller than my current pack would definitely kind of suck. My current pack on my mountain board is a 12S 7P. And when I'm really nailing it, I can get 20 miles. If I'm riding chill, aka like a normal group ride setting, I could probably get 30 to 35. And I think that pack is like perfect size for me. If I really wanted to be safe, I think 12S 8P of the P42A is the way to go. And of course that's on a drivetrain with pneumatic tires and aggressive riding and stuff, so. Yeah, I mean, it really depends on your use case of your skateboard, on if you care about portability or not. For me, I ride to work a couple days a week when I can. I charge it there, and it's pretty much a there back experience. There's no like huge transit part where I have to carry the board a long ways. But obviously I totally understand wanting some of them to be portable still. Especially if you go to the gym and you want to take your board there, because like I go to the gym 3 times a week and I don't ride on those days normally, because if I do, I have to come back to my like home before going to the gym, and that just adds extra time and it's annoying. So I've only done that a couple times. But if I had a portable board, I might be able to take it to the gym and stick it in the back or something. But at the same time,
how do you get all that range in a portable board? So the only real solutions are having multiple boards or just dealing with it not being portable. So yeah, but you know, there are still levels of portability to production boards. You can consider the difference between like LaCroix Lone Star Super Sport versus like, I don't know, more normal, quote unquote normal board like the onboard Zeus. Obviously the Zeus is much more portable than the Super Sport, but big range difference. All right, so my camera is sad. It is very warm, but it's gonna have to deal with it. We got all the P groups glued. It's just kind of a magnificent sight. I always like seeing all the groups glued together. It's just really satisfying. Take a couple pictures for good measure. Now, what do we do next? I think what I want to do is cut the nickel next. So actually, maybe I'll do the fish paper next. I do the fish paper and then tape all the cells together. That should work. So let's go ahead and set aside the number of cells here. Just going to work with 2 P groups for now. And we're going to figure out the best way to safely combine these together. Now, I think... What's up, Joe? Oh, fun fact, Joe. Your package is sitting on the ground behind me. And the label printer should be here today. So hopefully I'll be able to get that sent to you tomorrow. But I'll show you the nickel in just a second. I'm going to switch my camera angle here a little bit. I think I'm going to... I can't really see my screen very well. Maybe I'll move the GoPro back a tiny bit. Seems like a decent view. Yeah. Yeah. And let's change this camera a little bit. And go ahead and turn it. There we go. Focus her up. All right. Some water. Yeah, it's completed. Out of view. All right, so you want to see flexi nickel, huh? Let me focus this up close for you. This nickel is so flexible that you can literally just like bend it with your finger and it'll stay. It's pretty nice. And in fact, when I was rolling this nickel up onto a different roll to sell to someone, I accidentally like I rolled the roll on top of the nickel that I was already like rolling up, and it made a giant crease down the middle. So you definitely will want to be careful. But yeah, it seems really good. I'm looking forward to using it on this pack. It's like impossible to see if I'm in focus here or not, but hopefully you get the idea. Yeah, so it's nice and flexy. It's actually so flexible that it doesn't even compare to the other nickel I've used. The 0.2/25 that I used for my own mountain board pack is very stiff compared to this. So, all right, I need fish paper, I need fiber tape, and we're gonna see how to put these together. So I've got a ton of like cutaway fish paper that is like left over from other packs. I'm hoping that I can use some of that in this build to make it a little bit quicker. I think what I'm going to do also is, since these have to be staggered like this, I think I'm going to do a strip across the top part and just a strip across the bottom part. And I think that's going to be all. I don't think it's necessary to have more than that, because those are the only parts where the cells are touching. So we're going to try this first group with adhesive and really stick it in there between each of the cells. And if it's too annoying, then I'll switch to the non-adhesive, but all the non-adhesive is not cut, so I'd rather use all these thin strips first. So let's just go ahead and try this out. I don't know how much extra to leave. I guess I'll just cut off like that much. I know you can't really see anything on the GoPro right now, but let's see if I can get it a little higher. Yeah, it seems like a good method, Joe. That'll work for now. All right, let's see. And the interesting thing is with these packs, obviously you're never really gonna see them inside again. So if like one is slightly different than the other, it doesn't really matter that much, so long as you have the appropriate amount of insulation. So one downside of this being on manual focus is that it's hard to see. I should have my monitor on it. Whatever. All right. Go ahead and stick it all the way down in there. Seems pretty easy. I don't really see why that's considered annoying. Also, it's not even that important if these strips are perfectly the same size, because they're still doing their job. So not too pressed about using different sizes. And Kyle, if you watch this, it's not lazy. It's efficient. I agree. It would look very fancy on the video, and it would be kind of a meme. But it also would be super cool in a pack like Joey's, where he has a clear acrylic lid on his box. You still can't see the hot glue very much, but maybe you could see little hints of it. Ooh, this one is just long enough. Now, when I set this on top, are we going to have any weird looks going on? Oh no, that's perfect. That's not even too short. Yeah, it's nice. Looks really good. So, as you can see, I'm looking at my screen over there, by the way. As you can see, the groups are pretty close together. I think this is going to be what I'm going to do for the whole thing. Very easy, and in fact, you can actually skip it every other group. So the next one I do will just be on the other side of these. Saves fish paper, saves time. Excellent. You just have to make sure you put it on the right ones. And then, of course, there'll be fish paper in other places on the pack where the balance leads are, stuff like that. But I don't know, man. It's silicone is annoying. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Well, just now that you mention that, I'm thinking, what if I just put a line of hot glue down here and slap it together? I feel like that would be strong enough. Don't you? Also, Joe, I still can't believe how ridiculous your board is. It's like the most flexible thing ever. And just the way like the enclosure sits super securely and everything, it's just very satisfying. Also, I'm kind of disappointed that I missed the dirt track day. It looked like a lot of fun. I still had fun with what I was doing otherwise, but I definitely want to get my mountain board on a track sometime because it looks like an interesting experience to figure out how to jump. The only thing I've done so far really jumping wise on my mountain board is in a nearby park. I have like a little slope that I can jump off of, and that's fun, but it's not anything compared to like actual jumps. It's so interesting because of the way the rounds on these hit, I can go that short on here and it still completely covers it. That one is too short though. Maybe I'll use a thicker one for that. That's junky junk. Looks like a lot of the other ones I have are thin, but that's still fine. I guess I will use this one then. Again, this may seem lazy, but it's completely functional. It does the same exact job as purpose cut ones. Oh my god, really? Yeah, that you're still super lucky you didn't break anything, you know. Unlike Connor, who broke his collarbone twice. Pretty rough. I can't believe how well he took it, though. I'm pretty sure you were on that ride with us. But when he fell, he was like, yeah, I'm fine, fine, fine. And then he's like, oh, Something feels weird with my shoulder. After seeing the x-ray, no wonder it felt weird. Perfect. Excelente. You know what would be useful is like a big vise here to squeeze these together once I put the hot glue in. Yeah, I was like out in front, so I didn't even see it happen. But my lights are also probably the brightest there, second to yours. So I definitely did not miss any speed bumps. Okay, this one will need double-sided. Right. That's fine. Maybe I'll do 3 strips for these really skinny ones, just to be on the safe side. That's a good point. It's kind of a good idea. I wonder... I know there's some 3D printed vise designs out there already. And I could definitely just custom make a pair of jaws that would have like battery ridges on it. Either that or just a big flat surface would probably do just fine as well. That's a good idea too. Of course, with your size brick packs, that definitely makes a lot more sense because you can't really hold... How many cells are in those airplane packs? Like 200 cells? 400 cells? You can't really hold those together by hand. Oh, what the... How did I come out so short? Oh, it's because the grooves are deeper. That one kind of needs an extra piece. (24S11P). Man. Oh wait, this can just be offset. Yeah, that's a long haul right there. You can't get a K-weld that fast though. Wait, like next weekend? Or this week? I guess that makes sense. Even with this small size I build, well, okay, maybe not, they're not that small, but compared to yours, I still would like to have a second K-weld. Just because that would let me switch between them for each end of a P group. While one is being used, the other can be cooling, you know? Seems like it would be efficient. And yeah, that's actually a decent point. I could clamp the cell holders together. They won't fit very well with the extra fish paper on there, though. There's 3 down. All right, next one, double-sided on this guy. I never thought that I would use all these little strips, but this is a very, very good use for them. If I do this again, should I put music in the background? I thought of doing it, but I didn't have time. Actually, it took me longer to set up my streaming scenes and stuff than I expected, which is funny because I haven't even really used them very much, but it's good to have them just in case. Going down to 7 gauge. They're like 8 right now, right? I think they're 8. But it's not really the cables that get hot, right? It's the actual probes. So would that really help that much? It might. I'm just wondering. At least for me, it doesn't seem like the cables get super hot, but again, don't have probe grips on it yet, so. Almost halfway done. Not bad at all. After this step, then I can glue them all together and tape them. And then after that, the nickel can get cut. And then it'll be welding time. I don't know how much longer I want to stream. It is currently 12, almost 15. I started around 10 something. Really? Oh yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think of acting like a heatsink. Because like, I mean those giant crimps on there, it seems like a pretty good thermal connection to the cables. So that makes sense. Joey, for your welding setup, do you have it set up with car battery? I still haven't changed mine yet. I'm still actually working with the LiPo that I bought from you. Still working great. Okay, that makes sense. Ooh. Yeah, K-cap seems like a really good option, especially because you like never have to charge anything. Not even like the car battery. Also, it seems like it'd be a much smaller solution, like size-wise. Because the car battery is so massive. I have nowhere here really that's a good spot to put a car battery, so I've considered investing in getting the K-cap It's pretty expensive though, I think. I have a couple power supplies that are just sitting around that I've been meaning to use for different projects. One of those being like a universal charger for my different boards. And they're just sitting in my cabinet. It's always surprising how quickly time goes away. For example, after I get off this, I will probably be editing the VX4. I don't know, you can't really call it a first look. I'm not really sure what to call it, but I look at the VX4 and install it on my board and give some first thoughts on it. But I'll probably be editing that right after this. That's a good idea, but the problem is with the car battery, the distance between the battery and the probes has to be, or the battery and the actual welder has to be really short. So usually the battery setups are like right next to the right next to the welder, like on the desktop. Yeah, that's what I thought I remembered seeing, and Ted has one like that too, I think. And yeah, that's a really good deal. You got lucky with that. Getting close. This takes a long time. It doesn't take as long as full fish paper, but cell holders definitely make it faster. Good thing I've got lots of these skinny strips. Or not so skinny strips. Oh wait, no, I have tons of them. Inevitably, I will make more of these strips as I build other packs, so this is great. Hopefully this is still recording okay. I'm a little bit concerned that I might run out of disk space because we've been recording for almost 2 hours now. But I guess we'll see. I think I'll have just enough. But I will definitely need to move it onto a different drive. The recording, I mean. And then I can upload it. I might even upload it today. We'll see. I don't think I'm gonna edit it at all. I'll probably just grab it out of the file and just straight up upload it. You can tell these strips are from a smaller pack because they're much shorter. I have a NAS. I have a 10 terabyte NAS. My media drive in my computer is a 10 terabyte as well. And then I have another 5 terabyte secondary drive that's external. But I couldn't, or I forgot to change the destination for where the recording was going to right before I started streaming. And once you hit stream, you can't change the recording destination, because when you have it set to same quality as stream, it actively captures at the same time. So you can't change it until you close out of OBS. So next time I stream, which will be on YouTube, actually it'll be on YouTube, I won't have to worry about it, because I can just straight up publish it right after the stream is over. But yeah, I have plenty of space. I just didn't get the setting changed in time. I'm not actually really effectively using my NAS at the moment either. I'm planning to use it as a backup drive for my media drive, but I just haven't set up the backup yet. Right now it just has my Plex server on it with some movies. It's only taking up less than a terabyte, so. This media stuff takes up a lot of space though. From Carve, all the GoPro footage I took was 200 gigabytes. So I'm gonna need to go through some of that, make my short recap video, and delete stuff I don't need, because otherwise you find yourself spending a lot of money on hard drives. I've already spent $700 on hard drives since I started YouTube, so rough times. I need to end up like Linus Tech Tips with my 45 drive server in the closet. Which I definitely would not mind, but that's pricey. I think these are wide enough to only do 2 on that side. Only 3 more groups. Let's go. 1 more double-sided, and that's it, actually. Perfect. Ooh, I need to get some more fish paper out of my box. I should probably have my Twitch chat on, or my YouTube chat or whatever, on my phone or something in front of me, instead of looking over to the screen all the time. Improvements for next time. Guess I'll put 1 more piece on here since I have it out. Stuff's all gonna be squished together anyway, so. Two more pieces. I don't want to ride today. I shipped my battery back from Car PDX. And it's supposed to arrive today, I believe. Let's see, do I have any shipping notifications? Let's see, let's see. Actually, it said 0 days. Perfect, out for delivery. Hopefully I will have my battery back today and I can ride later. You know, I did 88 miles at Carve last weekend, and that was the most I'd ever ridden in one go, and it was super fun. I didn't even get too tired. My legs were pretty sore on the last day, but I wish I'd gotten to stay for the other ones because they got to ride like another 100 miles, which is pretty cool. All these little tails sticking off are really bothering me, so I'm going to cut them all off in just a second here. It looks silly. Dang it, come on. There you go. Push you in, push you in, push you in, push you in. There we go. There we go. There's a 12S 8P pack, all fish papered up. I can almost pick it up by the sides. Now, wow, that really expands a lot. Hide my secret parts from you guys. Make sure I don't show the bottom of this. It's a secret. So, yeah, so 12S AP is just gonna fit in here. It'll be tight, but it should be fine. It's kind of crazy how much they expanded from where they originally were. Let's see what the total dimension is. Nothing is welded together yet, so I can do this. Total dimension is about 237 millimeters. Let's capture that for reference. Surprising. I don't know what it was before, but it seems like it expanded a good like 10 millimeters. If I compress it, get it down to like 232. All right. Let's get these going together. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it and stack it and glue it and stack it. The only thing is I need to make sure they stay aligned vertically. Let's go ahead and trim all this excess off. These ends don't actually touch, so they don't need to be insulated as much. I don't want little bits sticking out. It's ugly. All right, so this one, is that right? Yeah, we'll go this way. I'm feeling like I need a back plane to press this against. All right. Oh, I can't even switch this. I just realized I cut one side a little shorter than I wanted to. It should be fine though. Yeah, it'll be okay. Okay, so I am just going to stick glue in between here and give it a nice press. And we're just going to have to eyeball straighten this, I guess. I think it'll be fine because the nickel's so soft, but it's always a little bit nerve-wracking. And we're almost melting this bag. Nice. You guys see everything okay? Maybe I'll get fancy and switch the lens real quick to the 50 mil. I think I can turn this off without it freaking out. Obviously, you're going to lose camera feed here for a minute. I think this will be cool to get a nice close-up shot. Helps take the lens cap off. Yeah, that looks good. Reconnect here. Switch to manual focus. And then go ahead. And not focus apparently. What's going on? Oh. There we go. All right. Group 1. Oh, I need another glue stick. Time to get glued. How's my mic pack? Still have 2 bars. The other one is plugged in, so it should be fine. Still got audio. Everything's going. Recording for 2 hours and 19 minutes. Dang. Keep going. Only 47 dropped frames. Not terrible. All right. More hot glue time. Let's see how this goes. We'll just do like a nice little squish squash kind of thing. And we have to be quick because we don't want it to dry. And make sure that we do this correctly. Hopefully this is correctly. It was, thank goodness. Yo, what's up, Mike? How's it going? Found your way onto twitch.tv, huh? I have never even met Jansen before. Hello there. I remember him from the old days. Back on the good old Builders forum. The old Aussie cracky. Yeah, it's not quite as flat as I wanted it to be. But they're good and stuck together, that's for sure. Maybe I will stick the hot glue on and then press them together from the sides. That'll probably be a little bit better. Again, I'm not super worried about them being a little bit off kilter because the nickel is really soft and it'll flex, but definitely do not want them to be super far off. Go ahead and glue, 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 glue. Flip this over. Get it nice and centered. Flat. Squish it together. I really think the 3D printed vise idea is a good idea for this. In the desert, huh? Then you just get like a new place. Also, you have to sign up to watch Twitch. Oh wait, I guess you have to sign up to comment, huh? Thank you for dropping by. Yeah, so this is a 12S8P for a client, a local client in SDE Skate. And today is the day that I started working on it. So earlier I was in CAD for a little bit to figure out my nickel sizing, and then did all the fish paper, glued all the cells together, not in that order. And here we are gluing the cells together again to prepare for nickel cutting. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, so brick packs are fun. Much easier than building ones that require you to cut 50 pieces of cable to solder them all together. I forgot to cut those pieces off. Oops. Let's see, this one goes this way. So you can cut all these ones off nice and short. They're not getting touched. Dude, that would be so sick. Or like I wonder, you could do like drag knife on top of like a piece of masonite maybe. Like as the 3D printer bed. Because if you drag the knife blade against glass that much, it would probably end up getting dull pretty quickly. That would be quite amusing to see. I also really want to see, I don't know if you remember back in the day, Quentin, one of the guys from Apex, he built that like CNC style welder. That seems super cool. Obviously, the main issue with something like that is that you're gonna have to like figure out how to set the pack size and stuff before you start even building it, which makes it a little complicated, but it seems like a really, really fun project. Very complicated, requires coding, and is questionable if it would take less time or not. But yeah, I know, right? But yeah, the I could imagine like a CNC thing like that being super, super cool for like if you were, for example, duct battery systems and you're building a million 12S4P packs. You could have the welder automatically do all of the 4P groups. That would be cool. Obviously, the main challenge to come across, or that you would come across, is getting the pressure right, because, you know, when we weld our packs, the amount of pressure you put down on the cell makes a big difference on how good the weld is. Yeah, same. But you know, they have like the industry packs, they weld them all with the hydraulic automatic ones, you know? And those obviously just have a spring that's the right tension in there to ensure that it's consistent. Obviously, we know that those aren't always the best welds, but still. Did you try one of the AliExpress ones or something? Because I'd be interested in seeing it done with like, you know, the K-weld ones are like CNC'd copper. It'll be interesting to see it done with those, but like attached to the spring-loaded mechanism or whatever, like screwed in. Yeah, it's too bad Kev Ball isn't here, but he's probably working. Today is my day off, so I am, as you can see, still working, but I guess you could call this fun work. Not getting paid though, so it's free work. Well, getting paid for the pack. I'm not getting paid to stream it. Just for fun. Yeah, working. I think he works part-time. Part-time at his internship or whatever, and part-time for Board Dynamics. Mike, I'm really jealous of your new shop. Looks so awesome. You have so much space in there to do whatever you want. And I just stuck my finger in the hot glue. That felt really nice. And that one did not squish down as much as I had wanted it to. Maybe I need to stand up to press down onto these now. The glue's drying a little bit too fast. Or not drying, cooling down rather. Okay, and cut these tails off. Whoa, that one is stuck really well. Oh my god, you have that much? That's so much video to go through. You're not gonna believe this, Mike, but Twitch chat caught your comment because it said it hit you up. That's hilarious. Jansen has the flux. Which flux? I don't remember. Is it the one with 3 links? Also, you have my number. I gave it to you at EskateCon. I can text you right now. Which flux are you talking about? I don't remember. Oh, wait, the 8-wheel drive one? Oh, okay. Dude, I can't believe Frederick is gone. It sucks. Flux is such a cool company. Very sad. Ow, that was very hot. I'm probably just gonna stream until I finish gluing this pack because I'm kind of hungry. I might do another stream to finish this off though because it's kind of fun. Also, it's not super urgent for the client. Oh yeah. I had actually been looking for a flux deck for a while. It's a V1, right? Kevin's Flux rides like a limo. We like nicknamed it the limousine when we were at Carve. It's kind of funny. I just realized that this camera view is not really seeing anything anymore. Yes, the limousine. You can derail it all you want. I'm just building, man. I'm here to talk. I think riding in sand is super fun in concept, but really annoying. But it would be fun to make like a sand runner. If you remember someone on the forum, what's his name? Doug M, I think it was. He built that sand runner build to ride on the beach, and then unfortunately caught on fire because it was short, but it looked like it would have been fun to ride in the dunes, you know. There's also like you know, Newbie. They showed a picture with like those tractor type tires on them, and those looked like they would be excellent for on sand. You know, like you see side by sides and stuff with the big paddle wheels, kind of like that. Seems cool. Yeah, I know, dude. Carve was so awesome, but I totally understand not being able to make it there. It's it's pretty expensive, especially coming from where you are. It was such a great time though, especially meeting everyone in person, seeing people again. Mario couldn't make it either, which was sad. But you know, things come up. Gotta set your priorities, so whatever happens, happens. I'm just happy that I was able to go and meet people and hang out and ride lots and lots. That's what it's all about. I was trying to like explain what Carve was to some people. I'm like, well, it's basically just us hanging out and riding. Is that unfortunate, Evan? I feel like it's not very unfortunate. I think it's a good thing. Apparently, I don't have that emote. I'll make sure all of the peepo emojis are available on YouTube, though, because they're funny. The only streamer I actually like watch, though, is Ludwig, so I'm not a very active stream user either. I usually sit and lurk. Yeah, dude, I mean, this is the first one on Twitch, and it probably won't be on Twitch again, so I'm not sure if I need to go through all the process of getting that stuff set up or if I should just say forget it and do it on YouTube. Besides, I'm not going to stream like all the time. Maybe I'll do it every once in a while because it's fun, but the main platform is YouTube, so I'd much rather have people subscribe to my YouTube after finding my stream than follow me on Twitch, because probably won't be here too often. It would be fun to stream a build though. I have a couple builds coming up, but I'm definitely gonna do videos on some of them, so that's fair. I actually don't even think I'm subbed to anyone on Twitch right now. I'm sure I have a Prime sub available though. This is actually a pretty good idea, gluing all these cells together. It feels really solid. It also looks super cool. Really is a pretty big pack. I always lose perspective on these things. Once you have it built up, you're like, wow, that is a lot of cells. The last group. ready to get glued on. And then I think I'm going to put glue in between all of these extra interfaces, like on the ends of the cells. Can't hurt. And I definitely do not want this to come apart. So I'm pretty sure the guy that will be riding this is going to be pretty hard on his board. So it'll be a test for both my enclosure and for the battery. I don't even know how Twitch subs work. Can you even get subs when you like just start? I think you can only like follow until like a certain number and then you can sub. Not really sure. Obviously, I didn't expect anyone to give me money, so I didn't bother looking at any of that right now. Maybe one day, but not right now. Wow, there it is. 12S 8P all stacked up. Hopefully it fits in the enclosure still. That is pretty cool looking. Camera is not even in focus. You almost could have said something. Actually, it'd be a good idea to see how much this is expanded to after gluing it all. Pull out the ruler. I know. Super. Has grown to, oh, it went down. 232 millimeters. Not bad. Before I compressed it down, it was at 235, so it's actually great. Give me a little bit more space to put a thin layer of padding in the enclosure. All right, so let's see. I think I'm going to glue the edges now. Man, this looks so crazy like this. Just run some glue beads in here. Let's see if I can make sure this is in focus. There we go. All right. Glue in there. Glue in there. Glue in there. Yeah, I'm gonna need to grab another glue stick again. Can assure you guys that this will not be coming apart, that's for sure. That is one downside of these gigantic packs like this, especially with this construction method. So if you ever have a cell that goes bad, you're kind of just out of luck, because all the cells are like deep inside. So unless you somehow get lucky and one of the P groups on the end is the one that dies, not really any way to repair these. On the other hand, repairing packs sucks. And it's a lot of effort. So, rather just build it correctly the first time so it doesn't break. All these hot glue spider webs. Give this a second to cool before I flip it over. And then it will be all glued. All done with that part. Man, it's almost 1 o'clock already. How'd that happen? Live for 2 hours and 42 minutes. Recording for 2:41. Nice. Those are cool enough now. That's good. The pack doesn't feel creaky or anything when I turn it. I do need to wrap it a little bit in fiber tape though, because I want to make sure it's nice and secure. I'll probably might end up putting fish paper around the outside. I'm not sure yet. Need glue stick though. I have some things to improve this setup for next time, but it's been working pretty well so far. One thing about these brick packs is since there's like less time that you have to spend in other areas, you can spend a little more time on this extra reinforcement and stuff and still feel like your time was worth it. Of course, it'll be worth it if the pack is extra functional. That should be all the glue done. As you can see, this black hot glue sticks to the cells very well. All right. Now we have positive end, negative end. Don't know which one I want to have as which yet, but it doesn't really matter. Ooh, there we go. Wonder how much this weighs. Let's see. Actually, I'll take a couple pictures first for good measure. Get the scale. Let us see. I bet it's gonna be like 12 pounds. Obviously, you could guess what this weight is based on the weight of each cell, but I don't know that off the top of my head. Well, it's more than 10 pounds because this scale can only go to 10 pounds, so the more you know. I'm not going to get out my big scale right now, so we'll just have to leave it up to guessing. All right. Not quite flat. That's fine. So, for those of you that were here earlier, I've got this piece of paper cut out for the nickel sizing. And obviously, well, maybe not obviously to you, but that is the next step. Cutting all the nickel to go on the pack. And you decide which side will be the positive and negative, and then all the strips will need to get cut to this size, and then after that it'll be welding time. Of course, you need to remember the end pieces are folded over the edge. but all the rest are going to be the same. So I guess I could just cut a whole bunch of pieces of nickel at 272 millimeters for now. Hmm. How many people are here? There's 9 people here. Well, oh, lots of people followed me. Thank you, guys. I think I'm going to end the stream for today. I might work on this pack in another stream. Since I started it in one, I might as well finish it in one. But I don't know when that'll be yet. Maybe later, probably next week in the evening. But I don't really feel like cutting the nickel right this second, and I've been on for a couple hours, so I think I'm gonna get off. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. I appreciate all of you for stopping by. Those that were on earlier and didn't stay, that's fine. Glad you dropped by and said hi. Yeah, I will let you guys know if I have another stream coming up. And next time we'll be cutting all the nickel, and we'll probably just go straight into welding from there because there's not a ton left to do. We got nickel cutting, nickel welding, positive and negative series, or no, positive and negative discharge connections, and then the balance leads, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, thanks again for dropping by. I'm going to stop the stream in just a second, and I will chat with you guys later. Thank you. Bye, guys. I need to find the stop streaming button. There it is. See ya.